Wait, we can see ourselves. We can see.
Good morning, Northwest.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Chloe, and we'd like to welcome you to Time Connect.
Please stand for the pledge. Put your right hand over your heart and your left hand down by your side and say it with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for dress code check.
You may be seated.
And now for today's sports announcements.
Softball has a game at home against Roberta Road tomorrow.
Football has a game away versus Mount Pleasant tomorrow.
And now for today's announcements.
7th grade basketball cheer tryouts are coming soon. Tryouts will be October 16th, 18th, and 19th in the multipurpose room from 4:15 to 5:30.
Sign up in Dragonfly and get your wristband from Mr. Hilton or Miss Lynn starting this Friday. Student Council is open to all grade levels. Fill out the application completely and turn them in to Miss Cow by Friday, October 6th.
Completed recommendations can be placed in Ms. Cow's box.
And now for this week's Positivity Project Character Strength Forgiveness.
The character strength of forgiveness means that you forgive those who have done wrong and you accept people make mistakes.
Forgiveness can often be seen as a selfless act, but it also carries many benefits for those who practice it. The benefits of forgiveness range from increased health to developing positive relationships. Remaining bitter and angry increases your stress levels, and forgiveness helps an individual release that anger and resentment.
Remember, a person can show forgiveness every single day. As you go through your day, be sure to look for opportunities where you can demonstrate the character strength of forgiveness.
And now for Mike with the lunch menu.
Good morning, Northwest. Today's lunch menu on the main interior line is build your own taco, soft taco. On the grab and go interior line is chicken sandwich, steamed corn, nacho bites, french fries, seasoning black beans, pineapple, and oranges. Now for Miss Gibson and Miss McIntyre.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So today we're going to be talking about conflict resolution, because that seems to be an issue in every stage of our life of how to deal with conflict and people that we don't necessarily get along with. So one thing that you can always do, or that I make the biggest thing about, is that not everyone has to know that you don't like someone, right? Like, I know that I personally don't like some people, and I know Miss Gibson personally doesn't like people, but we don't go around saying, like, oh, I don't like this person, or we don't make a big deal about things, because when you mature, you need to be able to handle people that you don't necessarily get along with or that you don't share a lot of things in common with. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be an issue. You can just exist together and not have a problem.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is, if you have an issue with, say, a friend, like if Miss McIntyre and I got into an argument, I think a lot of people...
Never happens.
Never, ever. I think a lot of people think that you have to immediately respond, and a lot of times it's best to take a step back and, identify what you're feeling and what's going on with you before you address whatever that conflict or that issue is that you have with a friend or classmate.
Yeah, and I think being so quick to react is a problem for a lot of our kids and a lot of adults too, because we feel like we need to have an immediate comeback, that we need to address the situation immediately, but that's not always how it works. Sometimes we need to take a step back and to be able to kind of get our thoughts in order so that we know exactly what we want to say, because we can say things that we don't necessarily mean when we're angry. So just make sure, that you try to go at it with a level head and try to understand where that person's coming from and be open to compromise. And if you can't reach a compromise and there's just no working it out, that just agree to disagree and agree to exist in the same space without having an issue. Because there's going to be people your entire life that you don't necessarily like, but that you have to be around. So it's a skill that you need to learn now because it's going to last you the rest of your entire life.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to identify kind of what those feelings are, and like sometimes you do need to let it out, and you need to identify the proper people to let it out to, because if you go to somebody who's maybe a mutual friend of that person, it could then lead into this whole other thing. So find your trusted adult, and if you need to go vent to them, that's totally fine, or a friend that you know that you can trust, but also being mindful about who you talk to about these issues, because sometimes we do need to let it out, but it's being mindful about who you're going to.
So make sure that you try that skill this week. If you're having an issue with someone, try to resolve it yourself between you all, and if you can't, then you can reach out to an adult. Or if you just decide that it's not going to work out, that you just accept that and you are able to exist in the same space. So make sure that we practice that this week and all the weeks of the rest of our lives. So our quote for the week is, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference. You just have to decide what kind of difference you're going to make."
And as always, be respectful, be responsible, and be safe.